Yo and hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good whatever the fuck it is for you whenever and wherever you are. Hello puppies and kittens and welcome back to the Idiot's Lounge. My, I gotta work on that, that's a bit of a mouthful for an intro. Hope everyone's doing well today. I'm doing not so bad, I can't complain. Finished my first week at the new job, so I figured I'd do a chill little Sunday stream, kickstart my days off, and just, see what's going on. Johnny's taking a lunch break and tired. Fuck, that sucks. Johnny noticed. I don't know about Terry and Six, though, but if you guys are available and interested, I sent you links in your Twitter DMs. Don't feel obligated to join, just if you're up to it and you want to. The links are available to you. If not, that's cool, no big deal. Like the title of the stream says, this is just a chill and chat stream. Just gonna fucking shoot the shit, as I usually do. Wing it. And of course, enjoy some good tunes. Hey, Terry.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yes, I didn't even notice I had a message from you, so I do apologize.
Oh, that's quite all right. I was sending them out while the starting screen was on, so.
Oh, fair enough.
Basically, as who I see pop up. All right, cool.
I don't know. My phone hasn't been giving me proper notifications lately, so not sure what's wrong with it. But yeah, normally it would make a noise, and I'd check my DMs. But oh well.
No big deal. Yeah, Johnny unfortunately can't make it. He doesn't have his computer with him, but he's on a lunch break anyway, so maybe next time.
Yeah. Hopefully, he'll get a chance to rest after his work, because I think he works pretty hard. I think he probably needs a bit of a rest when he gets home.
Oh yeah, I would imagine. I mean, even if you don't work hard, in my opinion, you still that nice relaxation of grace period or whatever you want to call it, right between the end of your shift and when you're like, okay, I can finally get work off my mind and not have to worry about like anything at all, whether you're fucking slack ass as hell or not, you still got something of work on your mind and you need that time to get it out of there.
That's one thing I was glad that I had, like a fairly lengthy train ride to and from work, was that allowed the transition from work mode to like home mode, so that if I was at home I wasn't thinking about work, because I had like a 45-minute trip with which to sort of make that transition before I even got home in the first place.
Yeah. And that's why I laugh when people get people give me crazy reactions when I tell them, like, if I live a certain part of town and I work at, like, say, halfway across town or the other side of town or something like that, and I choose to walk most of the time, I get a lot of crazy looks, and it's like, well, why do you do that? It's like, well, there's a lot of reasons. One, I'm cheap. Two, I'm lazy, so I'm not going to go fucking work hard for a good job that pays really good so I can afford expenses. I'm that lazy. 3, it's good exercise, I'm pretty as I mentioned, I'm pretty lazy, and if it's the most exercise, even if it is the most exercise I have to do, it's a fair bit of it, so it does keep me in a decent shape.
Yeah.
It's not the best,
I just like when I was working, walking home from the station just gave my mind like a chance to just wander, and it was kind of relaxing, even though technically it's exercise, it was mentally relaxing to just let my mind wander where it wanted to go without needing to focus on anything other than don't get hit by cars when you're crossing the road.
Oh, exactly. And like, if you can find a walking method, if you can find a walking method that includes a lot of trails or or scenery and stuff, that's even better too, because it makes it that much more enjoyable. There's more distraction, as it were, as well as not just with the beauty, but with like the wildlife and the scenery, and like how different the noise is compared to the highway or whatever.
I used to get into, I wouldn't say arguments, but frustrating conversations where someone would offer me a lift home, and I'd be like, it's 15 minutes walk. I'd actually prefer to walk. He said, no, I'll drive you. You're just saying that because you don't want to put me out. It's no problem. It's like, no, I do prefer to walk. Just, like, you can walk home, that's great. And like, because this was with my aunties, and they're like, no, I'll drive you. But most of the times they're fine, whatever, just shut up. So, like, you drive me home. But given the choice, I would have walked.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I've had people do that too. It's like, you don't understand, like, whether I'm 15 minutes, 5 minutes, right next door, or fuck it, whether it takes me an hour. If I'm saying I would rather walk, I would rather walk. But it's minus 30 out. Yeah, which means there's going to be no other nutsacks out there this late at night, fucking hiding in the shadows. I get the scenery and the comfort of safety to myself.
Yeah. No, it's
You're gonna freeze. No, I'm not you. I prepared.
People will steadfastly refuse to believe that anyone would prefer to walk rather than get a lift.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not saying this to be nice. I'm saying because I want to walk home.
Well, yeah, like that's a very good point too. Like, do you know how often I'm fucking sitting at the bus terminal waiting for the bus at the main terminal, fucking at the main transfer terminal to fucking get on mine to go home after work sometimes, and then fucking some nutsack come up, hey, you got $1 or you got a smoke or something like that. You can't put the fucking. You think if I had this, I'd be fucking sitting here waiting for a bus like a nutsack? Because they're like, well, you can afford the $1.25 for the bus. There's a chance you might have a spare $1.25 or something. But if I'm walking, what normally takes people 45 minutes to an hour, me a half-hour walk to somewhere, and I'm going up the fucking walking path by the highway and stuff, and some nutsack tries to stop me. Hey, give me all your money or I'll stab you. You think if I had any money, I'd be worth stealing? I'd be fucking walking all the way up this hill, or do you think I would have fucking called a cab or at least taken a bus or something, man? Hey, Quiz, how's it going?
Yeah, I mean, there were times when the train was running late, and I just thought, fuck it, I'll walk.
Well, yeah.
Like, not from the city to home, because that would be like several hours of walking. But like, if it stops, like sort of 1 or 2 stops, because there's like problem with the train, and it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just walk the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And, like, more than about 2 hours of walking, I probably wouldn't be willing to, but it was like, yeah, fuck it. I don't want to deal with this train issue. I'll just walk.
Yeah.
And it's funny, when I went to my high school reunion, someone offered me a lift home. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, thanks. And it turns out he parked his car about 3 hours walk away from where it was. Like, he parked 3 hours away and walked and said that's where his car was. And like, anyone else would just tell you to fuck off when you told them that. And I was like, no, I don't mind. I'll walk with you.
Oh yeah. Real quick, Quiz, if you want to come hang out, let me know. I'll send you a link. If not, that's cool, man. Just figured I'd throw it out there. Yeah, fucking. So, I may only be in like my first week and still training at this new job and shit like that, but I have a feeling I'm gonna be OP once I'm done training and stuff like that. I'm gonna be too OP for this job.
Cool.
I'm scared what that's gonna be like.
It is funny that being overqualified is something that will put employers off. Because you think, oh well, I mean, you'd be great at this job, but they oh no, you're probably going to leave and get bored and leave if you're too qualified for a job.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm perfectly okay with being OP. Yeah, we want to hang out there, Quiz. I'm perfectly fine with being overqualified for the job and stuff like that. That's a nice fucking break that I'm looking for, as opposed to being just qualified enough or barely qualified enough and having to fucking take on more than I'd like.
Yeah, I mean,
This is a nice break.
I was technically overqualified for the job, my first job at the bank, because they did eventually promote me. But I liked that more because I didn't have to think. I don't want to focus on what I'm doing when I'm at work. If you tell me, you know, make 500 copies of this, and then okay, I can just, you know, stand by the photocopier watching the things go by. It's kind of relaxed. If I've got to sit there, you know, checking dates and timestamps and compliance with laws on all the invoices and shit, you actually have to concentrate on that. And I mean, I don't mind doing it. They paid me to do it, but I would have preferred, you know, just go file these. You know, put them in alphabetical order and put them in the filing system. Okay, I can do that. That's fine.
Yeah. Like the only thing I need right now for my job is I need to get used to where like the amount of things I'll need like to have ready for the, because my job is basically a baker, is what the title is. I'm supposed to just fucking make all the donuts and muffins and hot foods ready for the people up front to use and sell and stuff like that. So fucking
No, to be clear, your goal is to bake bread, not to get your customers baked. Just to clarify.
Yes. We may have legalized pot up here in the Canada or the Kanakistans, but we have not gone that liberal. Thank fuck.
Yes.
We've gone pretty liberal, fucking sadly, but not that liberal, thank Christ.
Well, I mean, you've got another few years of Trudeau. Maybe he can make it happen.
I could have gone the rest of the day without you reminding me of that. But yeah, and like, and then I gotta be able to coordinate doing that, as well as, because we're supposed to track everything, and
okay.
And so once we make something or cook something, we're supposed to log it into the computer too, like how much and what temperature certain things were that we cooked.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I just got to get that down pat, but once I can get that down pat, those two things, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be overpowered at this job, and it's just gonna be, I'm gonna make it my bitch, and I'm gonna be like, yeah. The only shitty thing is I work with like literally a staff entirely made up of Filipinos, except for one black guy and one other white guy. So they're all speaking Tagalog nonstop. Oh, they speak English when they have to speak to me.
Okay.
I fucking one of the girls fucking she comes back there and two people are having a conversation in Tagalog in front of my face. One of them is the guy who's been training me the last 4 days now, and fucking yeah, another girl comes back from the front and she's like, speak English please, we have a foreigner with us. And I'm sitting there like, I'm not gonna, I've already decided I'm not gonna say a word, but she looks at me after she says that, she's like, was that the right word, foreigner? I'm like, well, not really, I mean, I'm from here, I'm from this country, so I'm not a foreigner. She's like, oh, okay, so we're the foreigners. I'm like, no, you guys are the immigrants. You guys immigrated here, right? Yeah, so you're not
Yeah.
foreigners, you're immigrants. If you were visiting or tourists, then yeah, you'd be foreigners. But I just thought it was funny. He's like, yeah, I'm the foreigner.
Well, the simple test is, do they want to know what love is? Do they want you to show them? If they do, definitely foreigner.
Oh, it's funny too. On my first day, one of them asked me if I had any fucking Italian in my DNA. It's like, not the. I doubt it. Yeah, and Six says if they speak Spanish too, it might be easier to learn than Tagalog. Yeah, it might be, but the only thing I retained was what I already knew from Spanish, and then the one sentence I learned in high school because that was the only way to get out of class was "Puedo ir al baño, por favor?" May I please use the washroom? Yeah, in high school Spanish class, you had to ask in Spanish if you wanted to use the washroom, or claim to use the washroom.
Yeah. I saw it on Twitter. I forget what it was. I think it was the Washington Post. The leader of ISIS gets killed, and they describe him as austere religious leader. And it's like, that's true, but there's probably better ways you could describe the head of ISIS. And so now it's a hashtag of all these joke sort of obituaries, and sort of like Austrian painter and such and such Adolf Hitler passed away in noble suicide. Yeah, sort of all these horrible figures from history trying to make them sound like just heroes in these obituaries.
Alright, so Quiz says his potatoes booting up. Cool beans. While that's happening, I've got showing in the Hangouts there a tweet from Ryan Reynolds in honor of Joker's standings in the box office. A little congratulatory for being number one. You motherfucker. Underneath it, Deadpool, Neo, Pennywise, Jesus, Hugh Jackman, The Wolfpack, Mr. Grey, and Tech.
So Mr. Reynolds got dethroned.
So it would seem. Yeah, I pulled that up before the stream just for in case.
Yeah, I haven't seen Joker. I mean, I'm not going to. It's sort of, I don't know. I've heard good things, but it's also a lot of effort to go see a movie these days at the cinema. I've got video games. I don't need to go outside for entertainment.
See, and Quiz brings up my point, the point I was going to say. He says that Joker broke records, highest grossing R-rated film of all time, which is what Ryan's post was about. And he brings up still no deaths, which, yeah, I was more than willing to go see or watch Joker in some capacity at some point. But after all this hype of fear of deaths and stuff like that, I'm waiting for one before I watch it. Like I'm not saying I want people to go kill someone over this movie. I'm just saying I'm now feeling obligated to wait till someone has to watch it. There is a difference.
It was funny. The media was like, it sure would be a shame if someone shot up a Joker screening. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. We wouldn't want that, would we?
Indeed. And real quick, take her easy there, Six. See you later, and thanks for stopping by, man.
But no, that was very funny. They're basically begging anyone, to shoot up a Joker screening, so they've got stories to run.
It says a lot when you gotta fucking beg your audience to give you news to report on. And
yeah,
specifically too.
No, that was very funny. And all the comics that came out basically saying the same things, like the the cartoon with the guy going, "It sure would be a shame. Please, someone shut up. We need the stories."
Yeah. Man, the easy. Back to how easy my job is. Just because that's something I know I can talk about without running out for a bit. It's so easy because like fucking everything is just you put it in the oven, and you wait till it's done. You take it out, you put it in an insert, and if need, you label it. Well, everything's already fucking preset, so you just put it in the oven. Well, no, fucking you push a button to decide what you're cooking. Push a button to decide which of the 3 racks you're cooking it on, so it knows which one to get the right temperature for. You put it in, and then you fucking close the door, and then you wait till the automatic timer fucking tells you it's done.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you've got a job, and I hope you are as overpowered as you're expecting, because, you know, if you can activate God mode, job.
Well, I as I mentioned, I'm a halfway swimming in a sea of Filipinos, so I don't think activating God mode would probably be my best bet, especially up here in Kanakistan. People might get the wrong idea, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, just try up, down, left, right, BA. I reckon it'll give you about 30 lives. Not quite God mode, but should be enough.
Well, good enough. I'll keep that in mind for whenever these ones run out. So, how's Hitman going? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What's that?
No, you first.
I was saying I bought Ukulele 2 on Steam, and so far so good. It's but the first one was basically Banjo-Kazooie. This one is basically Donkey Kong Country, and I like Donkey Kong Country more, so I'm enjoying the second ukulele game quite a bit.
Fair enough. Quiz says 30 lives are more than enough. Well, we'll find out. If I go through all of them, then you're wrong. If not, well then, good on you. Although, if I can't manage to go through 30 lives, then I'm doing something wrong.
I've been playing Life on hardcore mode. 1 life, no saves. PvP activated. So yeah, once I lose this life, that's it. I'm done.
I didn't get a choice. I was born on easy mode. I don't know how many lives that comes with, but so far I'm on number 3. PvP is more like PvE. It's player versus everyone, and it's optional sometimes.
And Quiz is saying he refuses to support ukulele. I get that. I mean, I just don't care about the political side of it. Make a game I like and I'll buy it. I mean, if you have issues with the developer, then absolutely it's your right not to buy their stuff. The same way Eve was refusing to support the Epic Store because of Tencent's dealings with China. It's your money. You decide what you want to spend it on. And hey, Jen.
Jen, I'll let you know the same thing I told them. Everyone else so far that showed up, if you want to hop on and hang out with us, let me know. I'll send you a link. If not, that's cool. No pressure. Just throwing it out there. We're just chilling. Nothing really planned here. Just hanging out.
So, as my tweet mentioned, do consult a doctor before consuming Delahay's products.
Joke's on you, I am a doctor. Oh, that makes me sad.
Consult Della.
That makes me sad for some reason. Not Hillary Clinton sad, just sad.
And Quiz, I'm the same. I have an account with Epic. I have it just to get free games. I've never spent a single cent in the Epic Store. Probably never will. I can't imagine what circumstances would lead me to spending money on them. But no, I'm with you on that one. I have a Steam account. If Epic wants to give me free games, I'll take them, but I don't need yet another storefront, really.
That is exactly where I'm at. I originally got it because I didn't know any better, and I wanted to see why the game Fortnite kept popping up everywhere I looked on the internet, and so that's why I ended up getting it, was to play Fortnite. And I was like, oh no, fuck no, I'm out. But then they started giving free games, so I'm like, okay, I'll keep it. I'll keep the free games, but fuck Fortnite.
The first I ever heard of Fortnite was Badger playing it. And then there's only so much fun that can be had by calling Badger shit at video games, and so I lost interest pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even notice me anymore.
Well, I can't take him seriously if he's calling himself Faster, Higher, Stronger Badger. That's just too stupid of a name. So,
I think he already did it, but he mentioned a couple weeks ago he was going to be changing his name again.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because that was a terrible name.
Yeah, I think he's got a podcast going on now.
Well, he should not call it Faster, Higher, Stronger Badger. If he's already called it that, he should change the name.
If he's faster, stronger, then what is he high on?
I don't want to know.
I bet Bane would.
Badger pheromones.
I bet Bane would want to know. Oh no. Okay, you remember that Rob Schneider movie, The Animal?
Very, very vaguely.
Yeah.
I know I saw it.
I have vague memory too, but you triggered a memory of fucking when he was at the start of the film. It starts with him trying to fucking get stronger and better from ordering badger milk.
Yeah.
So when you brought up badger pheromones, it's like, oh no, badger, no.
Oh gosh.
That's not even.
Is my sound okay?
Your sound is perfect.
Okay. Sometimes it does stuff, and I'm like, "Are you doing stuff? I haven't touched you in days. I don't know."
Someone's been reading my diary.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't keep one of those. When you're an adult and you make like roommate decisions with your sibling, and you're like, I remember what you used to do to get into my shit.
How you doing, Jen?
I'm not too bad. I'm a little bit concerned on our war front because we've let a lot of really intelligent people on who don't internet. If you know what I mean when I say that.
I think I do.
Yes, these are very, very, very intelligent people who do not internet. So you have to explain to really intelligent people that do not put links to Discords on Twitter. Do not put links to Discord on Twitter. And then I had to explain to them about, there was this one time in Satsu's place where we had poop streams everywhere. And every corner of his room there was poop streams everywhere, and it caused it to crash because you can't delete the amount of spam that a group of radiators will bring to your Discord.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a shitty day.
It was a very shitty day.
The shittiest of days, if I do recall.
So these are very these are very posh people who are used to doing business dealings, and you're trying to explain to them listen, I'm not trying to peppy you here. I'm trying to tell you as somebody as a normal person who isn't maybe the strongest on the internet, you're gonna fuck yourselves over a lot. If you just put links everywhere. Like we're very like Smurfs up here. We just assume everyone's going to agree with our opinions on this, and it's just like, believe me, there are a lot of people looking at us right now who do agree with us, but they're not going to outright say it because they could lose their businesses if they did. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk with some of their admins and be like, listen, I'm a sandwich maker, but I'm gonna levy some facts at you, okay? So you need to have a talk section on here on things to look out for on the internet, because these people are gonna leak information everywhere. So, just saying. Yeah. Anyway. How's the Great Leaders going?
We're just chilling.
I had a guy who was just like, so when are we gonna start using kiwi farms to reenact like Gamergate? And I'm just sitting here like, oh my god.
Oh wow.
Oh my god. I'm picturing my dad on like 4chan or 8chan or Kiwi Farms, and I'm just like, no. He's only just ever had his first Facebook page like last week, and he's already deleted it already.
My dad refused to have a Facebook. Like, he saw no value in it whatsoever.
That's my dad. Like, the only reason he got it was because he wanted to yell at my mom because she's been in Europe for like the last 3 weeks and she keeps forgetting to call him. So he's like, every 4 days, he's like, so are you still alive? Can you just let me know? But she spends like an hour or so on Facebook posting everything, right? And he's like, so you couldn't like give me five minutes of your time to just call and be like, so hey, I'm still alive. Sorry, I'll let you know what's going on. I'm just tired, you know. Blink. No.
No.
His neighbor knew more about where she was than he did. So that's the Facebook thing. It was actually really funny. He went on. He was like, okay, so you need to get rid of your stepsister because she stalks me too much for money. I need you to get rid of this person because they do the exact same thing. And I'm like, okay, I have no problem with this. Like, it's kind of an excuse for me to get rid of people I don't really talk to anymore. So I'm like, okay.
The only thing I use Facebook for is my mum is fascinated with the ongoing saga of my SJW friends in Melbourne.
Oh my god.
So she'll call me and say, so what are they doing? And then I'll go on Facebook and look them up and read some of their posts so she can get appropriately shocked and horrified at just how insane everything has gotten.
Hello!
Hey, Quiz.
Hello!
My potato was taking too long, so I booted up my tablet instead. And it works on my tablet, so that's cool.
There you go.
Yay!
Now, see, for me, like, I've never used my Facebook. Like, I think the last time I was on was legit the year before Trump was even elected, and it was just between lack of interest for it, lack of trust for the company. Like, every year, it just, they would lose things that were actually cool. Like, I mean, the way they rearranged things would just be, I don't know. It was like always against what the public was like asking for. So I was just like, you know, I'm no one to have anything to do with somebody who doesn't really give a shit about what I do on their platform. Like, you know, that's just how it goes with the internet and those kinds of things. But like most of my family, a lot of people up here use it, like, because in a business sense, it's a little bit better than Twitter for that. You know, I mean, you do see a lot of people tweet on Twitter, but you can information share a little bit more on Facebook. So up here, like, I mean, you'll have people who do the Twitter, but a lot of the company people will be on Facebook groups with each other, and that's how they exchange information sometimes, or it's just through email, you know. So like YouTube, you know, my dad watches YouTube, but he wouldn't know anything about like YouTube algorithms or, you know, he knows about Google searches. Yeah, he knows that they fuck up that shit, but like he doesn't know like to the extent.
Mm.
You know?
I have a Facebook account for one very good reason. When the Mark Zuckerberg robots take over the world, they will kill me last because I am still on their platform.
Here's
Same.
here's the thing, Dale. I don't know if you guys have heard this or in Quiz or who, but even Mark Zuckerberg is pulling back from how left Trudeau wants to take the platform.
Well, imagine
When the
myself.
robot of the when the Borg leader is pulling back and saying, "Wow, where are you going with this?" And you're like, "We've been telling you this for years, you moron."
Well, I've never had a Facebook. I never will have a Facebook. There's two reasons. One is my soapbox reason. My ridiculous over the top. That's just how Big Brother tracks you, man. But my other one is because there's family of mine that use Facebook that would look me up that I don't ever want to talk to.
This is the other reason why I don't really use Facebook. Like, I mean, I still have it because there's people on there that, like, if I go on just to contact them, that's why. But I'd rather delete it. You know, if they weren't like people that I would really miss losing, I would delete it because I have the same problem with it.
Well, I wouldn't miss anyone that does use Facebook. if someone uses Facebook and they want to contact me, they know how to contact me.
Well, that's just it. The better ones know how to contact me. Yeah, I think a lot of it too was like last week I was giving people hugs because even with the election I'm mad. I was mad. You know, a lot of it's emotion too, and a lot of it's like pure like, yeah, I want to leave Canada. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I'm seeing a burning hellhole. That's not gonna correct itself. So I mean, I'm not gonna deny that, but I do still have my roots that are like, yeah, I feel bad for saying stuff. But, nah, I wouldn't say goodbye to Facebook ever.
I know I'm in the minority here, being the fact that we have two Canadians and one American here. But is that just the Canadian blood that you're wanting to apologize for something that you don't necessarily is your fault?
Yes.
It's a lot of that. Like
okay.
Like a lot of Canadians, I have family all across the country, so like I can say that my grandfather is buried in London, Ontario, so yeah, I could go and visit them, but that all really depends on how we end things, right? And they are making it so dirty. And I don't have resentment for people in Ontario who've been backing us up. Absolutely none. I don't have any resentment for the guys who fought with my family members in wars. I don't have that. I don't even have resentment for the normal people who are just too dumb to realize how bad of a situation they've created for themselves too. But I can't forgive the people who are just okay with the systematic. Honestly, I mean, and it is exaggerated. I did look up the numbers. It is exaggerated, but it is a systematic forced suicide for certain people. Forced, destruction of industry to the point where, like, anything that you could have done, like, say you went out to become anything. You're the guy who's just building the pipes. You're the guys building the roads. You're the guys building the buildings that, operate as the offices. And in 1 second, they can just destroy your whole life and your whole industry, and it'll affect you for not just one generation, but for several.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't look at them the same way, like to landlock your own province in your own country. Like there's certain things that you just. That to me is a betrayal of what my ancestors signed up for. It's the same for you guys in the US. I could just imagine the flames if somebody did that to you in the US.
Well,
I mean, they tried to. I mean, they tried to, but...
I'm a little ignorant about this. What exactly is going on in Ontario?
Okay, so how it is with our industries is they're blocking 2 pipelines. They've paid for one, and they're like, oh well, we paid for one. It doesn't matter that it's a really old pipe that doesn't generate a hell of a lot of money. The people buying it now have to fix it and run it. And first of all, like get it going because they've blocked it. But we had 2 pipes on the go that would take our product to market. So what we've been running since Trudeau Senior is we sell our oil to you, and then you sell our oil back to Ontario. So we sell our oil to you for $17. Like right now, that's the market price. It's probably changed by now. So this is just the last one I remember. But we sell it to you for $17, and then you sell it to Ontario for $72. Or they get it from the Saudis for the same price, or they get it from Venezuela for the same price. But we're only making $17 an hour, and they have blocked our way to make the same. And we pay, we pay $20 billion a year in just, this is just one of the taxes. This is just one of the taxes. This is the thing a lot of them are misunderstanding. The equalization payments of $20 billion a year is just one of them. We pay for all our stuff. We pay for our hospitals, our roads, our schools. We pay for that on our own. The equalization is to allow the rest of the country to do the same.
Yeah, I'd known that the oil situation in Canada was pretty fucked up for a while, but I didn't realize the extent.
Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong. There's liars on both ends. There are liars on both ends. So this is like Della probably doesn't know this as much because like I've been going through a lot of articles and shit, and I'm trying not to be a Debbie Downer. So I'm literally telling Americans this stuff so that you can make fun of Ontario and Quebec a lot.
Well, it's not hard to make fun of Quebec.
I mean, it's not. But like, here's the thing: these are the guys who do this all the time. They conflate us with the U.S. all the time. Like we should be ashamed of it. And to be quite frank, I'm not, because you know what? You guys have kept us afloat. You screw us over, but at least you've kept us afloat. And you're our business partners. And we've gone to wars with you. And you're not bad people. Some of you are. But most of you aren't.
There's some dick Americans. I'm not gonna lie.
Some of you are, and some of you aren't. But let's just be real. Out of everybody on this content, you're the only ones who've been willing to do business with us. So you know what? I'm not offended if they do that. They can call me whatever the hell they want. I know what my identity is. You want to call me an American? I know who my grandparents are. I'm not offended by that. But you know who is? They are. They get so mad at you for it. So this is basically what I'm doing, because I'm a bitch. I'm a woman. I'm a little bit psychological that way. But they've been doing that to me and mine for like years. And now that I know who they are, it's like I feel less guilty about it. But yeah, no, it's a huge thing with the system. But there are liars on both sides. So like even our corporate guys, like this is the thing. There are some guys in there that I really desperately wish that they would just talk out loud. Just talk out loud, because we're ready and willing to support the best leader. If it comes from one of the snake pits and it gets what we need to get done, I will take a snake pit guy, because we already know what's in Ontario. We know what's there. Their snake pit is like diseased, and it's like it's gonna explode or something. They don't use vax. They think we're all hillbillies, but I mean they can't even figure out where the money's coming from. So like, I mean, on the world scale, we are an industry that could make a lot more money if we hadn't made a hell of a lot of deals with them. We could have made those deals with the US and been like, see ya, hello Norway, watch as we function like you do. But there are people also in the background who are conflating things. So they just, I don't know, I think they thought we would erupt like Quebec or something, like burn our shit down. We don't waste money here.
I was gonna say you're also not pompous assholes who think that they've already left Canada. That was one of my. I watched Dev's breakdown of the debates, and I absolutely loved it with the Quebec Quebecois Separatist Party.
Yeah.
He's kept on saying Quebec and Canada. He's like, you're part of Canada.
Oh my god! Remember that fucking Quebecer we had in the Minions Discord that was pretty much like that too.
Oh yeah, what's her name? The feminist chick.
Yeah. Fuck, who gives a shit what her name is? What's her tits?
Yeah. I remember her.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
She was awful.
Oh yeah, and as soon as she
kept on bringing up child brides when I would be talking about something real like the Duluth model, but she'd be like, well, what about child brides? I'm like, go fuck yourself, dude. If you think that those are actually a thing in this current year, then you're an idiot.
Yeah, and then
however, the Duluth model is imprisoning men all the time for no terribly apparent reason because you're supposed to believe women in every single case.
And every time I fucking...
Like, stuff that she like, when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, so you're talking about, like, the odd stretch in, like, very remote places in the US and maybe in Canada where, like, that's, like, not even 1% on the population map. And yes, they get tried for it. They go to jail for it.
Oh, yes, they do.
They go to jail for it. So, like, it's nothing compared to, like, real-world places where it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get why you guys get mad. Like, I'm sorry, as a female who does watch stuff from these people, that I'm just like, can you stop conflating little gypsy groups, okay?
Yep. And start looking at the major problems that's kicked off because of feminism, like the Violence Against Women Act and the Duluth model and shit like that. I'm not entirely against the idea of the Violence Against Women Act, but you also need to realize that men can be victims too.
Oh yeah.
And they
Oh
don't.
well, yeah. Like it's the hardest thing in this generation for women, and it's really shameful. You know, even for me, like I've stepped up and said stuff, but you know, it still takes a hell of a lot of prompts before you're just like, can I do it now? Can I actually just step in and say something? Because even for our society where like where you see something wrong and you really want to say something, you can't just jump in anymore either. You know? Because I've seen this before. Like I know friends who wanted, you know, I almost dated, but I pulled out because women fucked them over, okay? And it sounds cruel for me to say that, but like it's one of those things where I can't be sitting there complaining myself with somebody else's actions either, you know?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that. But at the same time though, I get mad when I see it because it's like, well, I get mad if I see it from a man doing it to a woman. It makes sense to get mad when it's from a woman doing it to a man, or you know. And I'm a little bit lucky because most of my family, I've had both parents. The only kind of fighting was ever verbal, you know, and sometimes that could get pretty bad, but they worked their problems out, you know, despite it. So like with the exception of like where obviously there's a toxic relationship or violence or something, you know, that's one of those things where like I look at both parties, and you know, if it's coming from the woman, it doesn't matter if she's not hurting him as much. It doesn't change the justice bone there. Is just like, no, that's not an excuse, you know.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of it, you know. I'm not part of the Badger group either. They're too shady for me to really
Oh, you're talking about the honey badgers?
Yeah, the honey badgers. Like
Yeah.
I you know, not to say that I don't understand their pitch. I do. But with them, they've become enough of a corporation that like I'm just like, you know what? If there's a shade of like, I can't support that, you know?
Yeah,
Just
I think my major problem with the honey badgers. Don't get me wrong. I like the things that they say. The fact that they are men's rights advocates. That's all well and cool. But I do think they've taken it to full retard.
Yeah.
and you never go full retard. The major thing that I remember is, at least in terms of interactions, especially with people that we know, was the whole thing between Allison Tiemann and SDA. About the conflation of using men and women in terms of respecting losses to armed forces at on it wasn't even Veterans Day, it was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And she was saying like, well, more men have died than women. That's true, Allison, but that does not negate the fact that women have died in wars.
All the time. Even historically, it wasn't as much. Definitely was not as much. Even historically. Oh, I think is it me? Muted? Mm-hmm. Okay. It might just be the screens behind. I thought I got certain things. I've got everything muted but us. So it's like I'm watching like the screen like light up behind you. I'm like, are you talking? And am I talking over you? Because serve him.
No, you're fine.
No, but historically, even women have been involved in that shit. Like, we weren't the people on the battlefield. We might have been the people being raided. We might have been the people going like, just do what you need, buddy. But we might have been the nurses too.
Crew.
We might have been the support.
Yeah, support crew.
You know, we might have been the guys building your armor. You know, so like for them to say that, yeah, I was more a little bit peeved by that. But yeah, it's such an easy talk, you know. It's such an easy conversation.
Yeah. It's the problem with them is, I can say it a little bit more elegantly than going full retard. They've lost the plot. You know, that's the problem I've got, is that they really have lost the plot. They are so zealous in their need to fight back against women who've, with feminism have overstepped their boundary and not seeking something like equality anymore. Mm-hmm. It's never been about equality, it's a power play. I understand that, but that ain't it, fam.
It's even a little bit like yesterday with Monkey's conversation about friendships with men and women. Okay, so like here's the thing. I get that that's a difficult one because, like, as a woman, like talking to a group of men, sometimes it's just like if I want to have a conversation with a group of friends about just a topic, that's just a group of friends. There's no gender there. Like, say, like you guys were to talk about, I'm just gonna pick one out there, Star Wars. Okay, I'm not gonna lie and say that I watch everything or that I followed everything. There was a lot of the past that I didn't want to keep up with the new stuff at all. I'm kind of one of those who's just like, I'll watch the old ones and enjoy it. I remember reading the odd book. I didn't read all of them. I don't have the posters, but I remember having the toys. But if a guy wants to sit there and talk to me about something that he's passionate about, I want to be included in that conversation, even if it's just as the person listening to it, because I feel like some women do this stupid thing where their stuff is always more important. And as a nerd, that offended me to the core. As a nerd, that offended me to the core, because you should always appreciate that somebody else has something they're passionate about. And here's the thing. I'm like, okay, you guys are these women. These women are so clever, right? And I'm like, here's this guy just giving you a list of ways that you can make him so happy. And you're too dumb to realize that he's just listing for you everything that makes him passionate in life. Like, this is, it's one thing, honestly, but you know who the girlfriends are? They're the ones who'll make you a cake that looks like a galaxy star of some kind. They might not really give a shit for the rest of it, but they're showing support because they love you, and that is actually where you actually meet a line with a partner. And women have lost this. Not all of us. Like, you guys know tons of women who don't have that problem.
But, absolutely.
But this is very much a lot of the miscommunications, and it's the same with, like, as a little girl. Like, I like to play with both toys, but it wasn't really a partial thing. Sometimes it was just me making up stories in my head. Boys did that a lot more than girls. So in that sense, I can understand where girls are like, yeah, I'm more interested in that because I don't want to play dolls. I don't want to play dolls. I don't want to dress up. When I'm older, yes, maybe. You know, when it's more relevant to like everything. But right now, I'd much rather play with like dogs and cats and talk about like, you know, other stuff. And then they make it about, you know, they separate it. And the color thing doesn't matter. Like, you guys still had your toys. My brother used to take apart my Barbies and reattach them to G.I. Joe. So, and he would play everything into my Teddy Ruxpin. And I mean, I didn't care because I was just like, what?
Oh yeah, dude. Like that's one thing that I did myself. I would like sneak away my brother's like Ozzy Osbourne tapes and put it in my Teddy Ruxpin. That was awesome.
You know, if the guys went off to play sports, I probably wouldn't follow for that because that was probably the one moment where like some stuff I liked, some stuff I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that was where my girl popped up. But if you're playing with toys or like something where there's like engineering involved, I'm like, okay, this is something where I can get along with you. But then like, you know, other people would always just make it such a big deal. And it would make it uncomfortable. And then the guys would get uncomfortable. And then I would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's so much like around the societal expectations about expectations when it comes to and it's not about the whole gendered toys or whatever.
Right?
It's all about the fact that someone else is saying that you shouldn't be doing something, and that is what kids latch onto. If you sit there and say, I don't give a shit, do whatever the fuck you want, kid, the kid's gonna have a blast and not care and not give a shit, right? So it's all comes down to the fact that your judgmental ass, Miss Feminist and Miss Dude or Mr. Dude that's saying that kids need to play with traditional toys and shit. You're the ones that are fucking up your kids.
Like, it's just how it is. Like, you'll see this with most daycare kids. You had at least a play period where, like, I mean, there was supervision, but not really. Not really. Anywhere that you go, that's what you would see. And I mean, yes, there are girls that stick to girl toys, and yes, there are boys who stick to boy toys, and there's definitely an absolute blend of both. And you know, I would never get into all of the engineering because I'm not dumb when it comes to things. When it comes to lifting shit, I'm well aware of, like, even if I bulk up, there's a certain point where it ends with me. And for some women, they don't. Some women are great at it. I'm like, Jesus, you go, girl. But for the average girl, you know, I'm like, you know, you bitches could be in engineering school right now fixing all these problems, but you're too stupid to know that. I wish I was smart enough to do it. I would do it myself, but I know what my math skills are like.
And say, I know what my math skills are like. That's why I went to art college.
Right? I mean, I do art college too, but that's another one that pisses me off. That's a whole other league of pissed off. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with the fastness of using computers to do artwork, but there's a certain length where doing it on your own via paper to pencil to paint is actually really important, because it's one of those things where half the time I make fuck ups in those situations where I actually create new techniques for myself that I wouldn't really replicate with a computer. I mean, you can replicate it afterwards, but to actually get to, like, the stage of art that we are right now, a lot of that is fuck ups. And it's part of the creativity process that we've lost a lot of. Like, even with creators, like, this is the comic complaint from me. Like, I was never the comic girl, but I appreciated the art, you know, because as an art person, you can't not look at that and, like, be like, wow, like, these guys do a hell of a great job, you know?
Oh yeah.
But you know that a lot of the techniques that they came up with came from fuck ups. And it's the same with character creation. Like, you have to have a character that's a doozy before you're going to have one that's like, wow, I just want to follow everything about this character. And to do that, they have to put out their own people, and that's why I can't take their movements seriously, because they aren't even, you know, to the point where they're going to judge you for not being a gay actor to play a gay part for a character in a movie. They don't even support their own gay creators, right? Do you think gay creators don't have gay Marvel characters?
Well, the best part about it is that they have to artificially create them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if we're talking about that, is the artificially making of Bobby Drake gay? Are you fucking kidding me? And then their token hire of fucking oh god, what's his name? Oh shit. I can't remember his name right now. Shit. But yeah, the guy who's his only credit is being professionally gay. He's the gay writer, and he writes the gay because he is the gay, and he writes the gay.
Yeah.
And it's insulting. If I were gay, I would be fucking insulted by that.
I would absolutely be insulted by that. Here's the thing. They have an example of a character that they could have created a hell of a long time ago. He's a historical figure. I believe it was the British guy. Terry, you might call me out on this one. You guys might call me out on this one. But there was a movie about the guy not that long ago. He did the wire transferring of information during the World War II. And I think he was persecuted afterwards because he came out as gay, like he had a fake marriage or something.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that. I don't remember the name though.
Okay, so a historical guy that you could absolutely create a character about. All right. He's already got an interesting character, and yeah, he's gay. Like, he was historically persecuted. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, in this day, you might want to wean that part down as it gets closer to current day. But like, if you want to make that little sob story and get your character that like background shit, for your following, you could do that and create a story that might get you a few views. Okay, a little bit of sympathy points, and then as you get closer to the real life, like, most people don't give a shit about what you do in your bedroom. It's when you're on the street doing it that I'm like, okay, that's just nasty.
Yeah, keep that shit indoors, because I don't want to know about it.
But I'm the same with everybody in that regard. So like,
exactly.
And
it's not about being gay. It's about doing that shit in public, man. That's why I was like, we're here, we're queer. Good for you. Keep it in the bedroom.
They always pull that now. It's like, but everything is straight everywhere. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
And say people laughed at the idea of a straight pride parade. Give me a fucking break.
Where in the churches do you see them humping each other?
Right? If straight people are just everywhere, just shoving it in your face, then why aren't they just fucking on the sidewalk?
Right? Oh, look.
Guess what happens during Gay Pride Month?
Oh, look.
Like, I get the advertisement stuff, but it's just like, you do realize who a lot of you create our advertisements are, right?
Oh, look.
Well, the thing that I always love to think about is, what was that, Delhaze?
It's like, yeah, fucking, oh, look, there they are now, fucking Margaret and Harry doing their fucking morning wheelbarrow down the fucking street as they do every day to fucking celebrate straight pride in your fucking face. But speaking of in your face, better duck, because here comes Harry's load.
And say it's the one thing that always gets me though when I sit there and actually think about it. Gay people are actually owe a lot to straight people, right? Mm-hmm. Regardless of whatever you think about, they require straight people to have sex to make children to make more gay people.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Because gay people can't procreate.
Yeah.
It's like the world they want to create where everybody is just, not a gender or whatever or sex. It's just like you realize that's how babies are. That is how I know you want to switch that around, but at the end of the day, it's okay. Let them do what they want. That's how nature works, you guys. You just let them do what they want, and keep taking the vaxes, guys. Just remember.
I'm just and say the one thing that gets me about it, and people sit there and talk about it, is like, heteronormative. That's the one thing that really pisses me off. Heteronormative, right?
Yeah.
Hetero is normal. Period. Regardless of what you may think, regardless of what you may want societal standards to be, if it weren't the normal, the species would die. Period. That's science. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean,
No, exactly
don't even get me started on the.
You just know better than to tell them that.
Yeah, was like, don't even get me started on the whole idea of asexual. That one pisses me off.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I'm perfectly fine with the idea that someone says that they have no sexual feelings or associations. That's cool. I'm fine with that, right? But just first of all, I don't think it's a thing. Everyone has a libido. Second, just like everyone poops, everyone has a libido.
Honest asexual is more like, it's not that you don't have sex with other people, it's more like you're probably that edge of awkward where it's just really, really difficult to get across, because I kind of am like that. Like, most of my relationship issues are mostly because I'm so cautious, or because I just, there's a certain level where I interact with people where I'm so used to being screwed over that I'm jaded enough.
I get it.
You know, so it's not that I don't even give people a chance. It's just there's that level of like, and especially with women, this is the thing. It is a women thing. Too, men have it too. It just it makes you feel like you're asexual. You're not at all asexual. I think about that kind of stuff all the time. It's just I'm not gonna put myself out there because I'm trying to work on making myself a better person for that kind of thing. You know?
Exactly. I get that.
So, but yeah, for the asexual, I can claim that one because I probably didn't lose my virginity until I was 30, and it wasn't religious. It wasn't. It was just I had a hard time with guys approaching me. I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not to be mean to them. It was just I'm like, what?
No, I get it. And see, that's the thing. Again, I don't think it's necessarily asexual, because you still have a libido.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
The thing about it is, okay, and I can say that there are people that say don't want to ever have sex. Cool. That's fine. I can get that. And if you don't want to ever have sex, I can understand the idea of wanting to put that across in a term, because humans love terms. Apparently, I'm of the early '90s where we rebuked the idea of labels. And seeing everyone sitting here just talking about their labels, I'm just like, oh my god! I remember, growing up in high school, this is the exact opposite of what all of my friends and I were talking about.
It's like, don't you respect my individualism?
Well, we were individuals without labels. That was the whole idea. You were an individual because you didn't have a label. But no, like my problem with it is that asexual already means something. It means that you reproduce without having sex.
Yeah.
You are a human being. You are a sexual organism. Period.
Yeah,
choose another term.
They're gonna have to work on a lot more than sheep before we get to that point.
Yeah,
I get what you said.
Say non-libidinous. There you go. That's a perfect term, and it describes it perfectly. Non-libidinous. Okay. But asexual? Fuck you.
Yeah.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. But yeah, no, I had to say that about a lot of those guys, because it is a very dishonest thing. It is just a very introverted place when you're claiming that, because.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with introspection and that, but I don't think that these people are introspective at all. They're narcissistic.
Well, they want to be a part of the club, is what it is. Yeah. It's just a different entry ticket to the club, and I was never a part of the club. The individualist thing is literally, I didn't want to be a part of the club.
Yep. That's the idea, man. I mean. It gets me. Like they espouse the same sort of shit that we were talking about in the early '90s, with this sort of stuff when I was growing up. But then they do the exact opposite. They say one thing and then do the other, and it's.
A lot of it is because they think we're just one extreme club. They think that we are just one extreme club, and it's like, no, not really. We're just all very different. Believe me, there's a reason why, like, the way we view things like relationships and marriage has evolved so much over just 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like compared to like thousands of years of history and traditions, the way it's evolved over the last 100 years is a clear picture of how different we really are. Because you're looking at Canada, you're looking at the US, you might look at the, you know, more of the UK and the Aussies, but for us two, the mingling is more extreme. Because even like country family members, you know, different ends of Europe, we were very different people, and the religion was different. So the marriage is different. The way we interact is still the same, but it's different. You know, it's this weird thing where, like I said, you cannot individualize. Everyone is individualized. You just
Everyone already is. You don't need to sit there and try to find ways that you're super special, right?
It's like every person in a group could literally form another group with an entirely different group of people just because they're different from the other group. Like, it's just
And the one thing that I do have to say too is that it's not intolerant to make groups of different people that have different interests, right?
No,
it's not tolerant. In fact, actually, it's the definition of tolerance is the fact that you are able to accept people. Well, not accept. You're able to bring people into a group without needing to verify every single thing about them and make sure everything aligns. And I tend to see that a lot of people that are espousing things like social justice, it's their way or the highway. You know, you have to agree with their ideals and their ideology, or you're gone. You're done. You can't come in. It's, you know, gatekeeping to the extreme, and it's frustrating because that is in and of itself a hypocrisy.
You know, another thing too is maybe it's our generation is a little different because, like, I don't know your age group, but mine is I'm the last year of millennials. You know, I'm just under the Generation X, so I am millennial, but I'm not.
Yeah, and say I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm 84.
Yeah.
There's a major thing here. I've noticed a trend.
Yeah.
Demographers cannot come to a consensus. Some say that Generation X in 82. Some say it ends in 84.
Yeah.
So there's this 2-year period where you can be both a millennial and a Gen Xer.
That's me then, yeah.
So,
I'm on the bottom end there. But the thing I noticed in our classrooms, I don't know about yours, but we didn't have as many of the list makers. The list of rule makers. So, like, the teachers were the list of rule makers. I mean, that was just, you know, like, that's how it is in a company. That is how it is in a school. But you know, certain schools I noticed had the list makers, and I feel like their generation has a larger number. And I know I'm saying that, like, this is maybe like 5 to 9 years after I'd say, is where I really noticed that gap, because it's even the way the girls were with each other. Because I don't know if you remember this, but there was this period where they would bully each other into dressing a certain way, like the list of rules of how you had to dress to you know, be in public online and at school and shit like that. Like, the rumors were really bad for it. And it's the same list of rule makers that are in the feminist groups and in the SJW groups. Because, you know, if you toe the line with certain rules, you get booted, right? Whereas our generation, our rules were, like I said, they were corporate, or, you know, you might have personal group rules, you know. You know, guys have those kind of things, you know, maybe don't fuck with this guy's girlfriend or something. I don't know. But with girls, it was kind of a joke.
The man code.
Yeah, it was kind of a joke in South Park, you know, like where they had that whole episode with the girls' side of the class in their lists. Like, you know, everything is sparkly and rainbow colored and this kind of shit. I never had that. I never ever had that. Like, there were girls that would, like, mess with me because I was probably the first girl in class who had boobs, but like, that's different. That's more of a female bullying tactic. That's not a list. I'm not conforming to everything on their list kind of tactic, you know. Unless that's the boob thing, I don't know. But yeah, like, it's just I don't know. I'm peeling this as apart from like a female perspective too, because these are things that they won't tell you.
Yeah, that's true. I say that's the thing too, is that like I've come to the realization over a long period of time that this sort of idea that the feminists and the social justice crowd love to push on people, it's very myopic. It's extremely myopic. It's got an extremely narrow view, only a few people's experiences, and they're trying to take that as rote. And it's frustrating because that in and of itself is it's the antipathy of the ideal of individualism, right? Because they're trying to make everyone the same because of some people's experiences. And some people, I'm just going to say this too, some people are horrible liars.
Oh, yes, they are.
I'm gonna say Jussie Smollett comes to mind. I love it too because like he got off without any consequences right here in Chicago, and all I gotta say is Chicago politicians being corrupt. What? No, never. That never happens. It's never been a provable historical thing in this city. Nah, that's not a thing. What are you talking about? You're crazy.
And when people say, and when you say it's not like people don't lie or anything like that, the thing that comes to my mind is if I did it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, that's the thing. That's the thing too. Believe me, before I even went out at 30, like I kind of declared myself a virgin at 30, which is true and embarrassing.
I'll say this: it's better than, in my opinion, losing your virginity at 15. Which is what happened to me.
Yeah, see, I knew those too. But for me, it was the conversations with the women at the time, because it was being the one virgin without the excuse. It was always kind of interesting to see the other women try to pick apart my reasoning.
Yeah.
They would be like, so why don't, like, if you like this guy, I know he's got a girlfriend, but why don't you go after him anyway? And I'd be like, I would never date a guy who would do that to his girlfriend.
Because then he'll do it to you.
Yeah.
And, I was always the girl that I was the one they would tell these stories to, they would give me this advice, oh, go out, do this, go out, do that. And, I was cold-hearted when I lost my virginity, but I was completely honest when I did it. I did it online. I was like, just so you know, this is what I'm doing. Flat out, just said it. I even told them, I'm like, just so you know, I've never done any birth control either. So get your protection, because I will get my own. But I was flat out as honest as possible. I was like, I don't want to have babies. I know you don't want to have babies. I just don't want to be a virgin anymore, because I'm tired of these bitches ragging on me about it all the goddamn time. I'm not religious. This isn't like me being like, holier than thou. I just was hoping to like do stuff on my own first, because like it's a lot of bitches blame men for their first time sucking. Which, physically speaking, it's a hit and miss. You can't get every girl. One in like maybe 1,000 will get off on that.
Oh yeah, okay. I'd say women have a lot of trouble with it because it's painful.
It's very
because breaking the hymen is painful.
So that was one of those things. Like I had a huge leap with that, where it's like I don't want to do that to a guy that I genuinely like. So that was a leap. And then I wanted to just get it over with. So I did it to myself, and then I went out and I got it done. And I told the guys that. I was like, so just so you know, I have absolutely no experience. I'm not going to be a potato on you, but if you ask me to do something weird, I might say no. Just talk to me like a rational adult, and I'll think about it. And not a single one of them would call me on it. you know, and I felt so bad. I felt so bad because this is, even at 30, like, this is 8 years ago. You know, so not even a long time ago. It is, but not really. And these guys are just already terrified of women, and I'm just like, oh boy, oh, you guys don't need to worry. Like, just like I said, just, you know, I might come across as a weirdo because I'm this frank with you, but this is information I got from dudes because I don't get tips from girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I'm probably a weird study for you guys. You're like, what the fuck? Let's throw her at a feminist and just see her like, oh.
Yeah, you're like a feminist kryptonite.
I am a feminist kryptonite. I you know, I didn't go out to the bars because they smelt bad. Women are bitches at bars. They don't give a shit if they get stuff on you, and like, guys will apologize to you and hold doors open for you. But you know, I had girls drag me from like bar to bar to bar because I was considered the ugly friend. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When I dress up, I'm not the ugly friend.
And then you turn the tables on them
every goddamn time, and it's just, I don't think people understand. Like, I'm the girl who like dresses up for special occasions. I'm not the girl who dresses up like a whore all the goddamn time, because that was what I was taught, to act a certain way. And when I do, I try to dress classy. I don't dress like, you know, I'm so easy that you're gonna like slip into my shorts if I go home with you. But at the same time, you know, I'm not the ugly girl in the teens. So, you know, they would drag me to like a club, and then guys would be like, oh, hey, okay, let's dance with her. And then they drag me to another club. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not doing this anymore because it was a waste of my money.
Yeah.
Well,
once you realize what they're doing too, you just be like, I'm not your fucking piece of meat, bitch.
Pretty much, right? So like, yet again, don't take advice from girls, because like, sometimes they have your best interest, but most of them don't. Most of the girls on here are good girls. Like, I've met a lot of internet girls who are anti-feminists who are good girls. So like, there is hope for you guys. But like, I'm just saying, they didn't get us all.
Yeah.
They didn't get us all. It's just most of us didn't go to the clubs.
Well, you know, see, that's the thing, is that like, my whole reason for remaining single when I'm 35 is because I'm way too old at this point to put myself out there.
Yeah.
For a strange woman that I don't know, and it's hard to, you know, go out there and with these sort of expectations when you've been alone for so long, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I don't go to places like clubs or anything like that. And I've taken my mentality of the fact that if it happens, it happens. Cool. If it doesn't happen,
right.
It doesn't happen. Cool. I don't.
You know, at this point, with a population as big as ours, you know, that's just how it is. Like, if it happens, it's gonna happen. Rabble is kind of confusing things, so my direction is more on that right now. But that's just for more, you know, logical purposes. But I'm looking at opportunities cropping up right now because there's so many rabbles in Facebook, and so Facebook on the Wexit stuff, they're chasing them down, and it's just it's very funny because now they've moved to Discord. I might even give you a link for your Della if you ever want to just look and just laugh for a little bit, because they're not bad. They're just like I said, they're really, really smart people who do not internet.
Ah.
But no, it's, yeah, like I said, this is like it's a very good opportunity for us right now. Like, while we're like growing some balls, some sincere, really, really strong balls, there's a good opportunity. We're gonna break down some walls. So,
to be fair,
that's what the fight should be about.
You can't break down balls. You can't break down walls without balls.
Right?
To be fair, as Alberta, we are technically Canada's balls. We are the balls of Canada. Like, not like they're hanging balls,
right?
But we are the cojones that drives Canada.
So So like, it's absolutely reasonable that we're complaining and wanting to take grain, and just telling the rest of y'all, well, you know what?
Basically.
We'll take. We have to take her balls south. We'll take her balls south. But I mean, we're gonna do it on as our own sovereign nation first for a while. So no offense to you guys in the U.S. It's just if we have any kahunas at all, that's what we have to do.
Oh yeah. That's fine. I'm just saying, if you guys want, you know, we can always annex you. I mean,
just remember, the secret word is Ottawa. Oh my god. I'm sorry, Della. I had to do it to you. There was this guy in the Discord who was trying to take the piss. Well, not even Discord. It was Twitter. He was trying to take the piss out of me because I'm from Calgary. And he was all like, "Oh, you have a shit city," and I was like, "Listen, bro, I wasn't gonna go low bros with you because right now most of my Edmonton bros are my bros. But just to remind you, your city's been designed in a circle. You're welcome." And he's just like, "You fucking bitch."
And shut down.
And I was like, I know you don't take offense to it, because I'm just, like I said, I'm just a Calgary girl who's like, I wasn't gonna take the lowbrow, because I know you guys could too.
Yeah. But since you went there, I'll oblige.
Oblige. I was like, I didn't even go for the hockey team. I don't do the hockey, but even I know I could have gone for the hockey team.
Oh, yeah.
But I was civil. See, I was civil. No offense.
see that's why I like you Canadians, because if you're going for hockey teams, as a Chicagoan, I can also go with the hockey teams. Blackhawks, bitch.
Right? You know what I mean?
Whoa.
But I mean, even my team though. Oh man, we got so close one time, like 10 years ago. Fuck me.
How many cups we win? Oh, that's right.
Why do we keep selling you guys are better players?
That's true. I'm not gonna lie.
See,
I don't follow it all the time, but I do follow enough because it's like national, like ingrained in your throat.
Of course, yeah. You know, that's the thing, man. It's like I feel like sometimes I'm like at least part Canadian because I do love hockey so much. I hate football. I hate it so much, but I love hockey.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, I could never get into following hockey because growing up, I grew up in a house of make-believers.
Oh.
Yeah. Toronto fans.
Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of leaves you uninspired for the sport growing up with that.
Yeah.
I'll say I can't remember what. I went to a bar a little while ago. I want to say it's like maybe 2 years ago, and they were. It was hockey season, so of course they had hockey up on all the screens. And I remember it had to have been the Maple Leafs. I think it was 2 Canadian teams, and I remember it was the most the strangest thing because. I can't remember the 2 teams, but like I said, it was 2 Canadian teams, and it was like right at the beginning of the first period that it started, and I'm watching the screen, and the puck drops. As soon as the puck hits the ice, both forwards throw off their gloves and start punching each other. This is at the very start of the game.
Was it Toronto and Edmonton?